What's up?
What's going on, people? You know what it is. It's R&J Fantasy Football Talk. This is Rodney. This is Jay, and we back. We
Yo,
back. We back
I
talking.
am I am back from my beach vacation. Had a good time watching the waves and relaxing, and I'm ready to talk some football. How
Hey,
you
man.
been?
Be good, man. Just staying busy as usual. You know,
What's up?
not too much. But this football thing, I love it. So got to get it in. You know how we do.
Welcome. What up? I see Justin out there. Good to see you. I know you are on cloud nine today.
Oh yes.
Would
Oh
you,
yes.
do I even need
Oh
to put the NFL news banner up, or we just
oh my gosh. You,
just
you ain't even got to
just
put
get
it up,
just give
people.
you the
I mean, God,
moments?
man, gee, look, man, this is the best news I'd have heard. Like when I seen it,
Right.
I was like, what? Because it was 2 weeks ago they were saying that it would be the middle of August before he got cleared, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
man, not again. But the 49ers have stated what they put out that
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo has cleared. Uh, he's cleared to practice, and they told him to seek a trade. So that means he need to get out the door. We don't
Yeah.
want you no more.
They,
So send him
they basically
anywhere.
said the door is over there. You go ahead on
Yes,
find your way out.
please find your way out. We're not trying to keep you this year. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's
go
been
for
a
what you
long
know.
time
You know.
coming.
Hey,
So,
I'm good with that. I hope at the end of the day, I don't wish bad on the man, but I don't want him. That's somebody else. He can be somebody else's headache, not
it can
mine.
be another team's problem.
Yeah, easy.
We're gonna be talking tight ends. Justin's ready. He says Zach Ertz is a sleeper.
Ooh, I
Yo,
like that.
I love Zach Ertz. He got his freedom last year from the Eagles, and he did for the short time he was there with the Cardinals. He did some work. I think he's gonna do a lot more this year. You'll see where we have him. So I'm with you there. I don't know if I call. It's hard to in my mind to think about Zach Ertz as a sleeper because there were so many years that he was like the dominant tight end. Well, at least in the top three. He's not quite top three anymore, but yeah, he's fallen off a bit. I think because of his age, there'll probably be some people sleeping on him. So yeah, he's on my list.
He's definitely on my list.
Yeah,
If you're not going tight end high, obviously
yeah,
he's somebody that you can pick up
right,
late, and then he'll work for you every
right.
week. Because you got to think about it. Once you get past that first tier, it's
Hmm.
kind of a
Yeah,
they all lump together at that point. So
exactly.
he's somebody that definitely can work for you
Yeah.
if you go heavy on another position.
Yeah,
So
I think tight end is one of those positions you either go real early and get one of, like you said, those top tier guys, or you just
mhm.
wait till way back, and then you can fill in with guys like a Zach Ertz or a few other names that we'll mention later, and it can work out even better for you if you do it that way. So ain't nothing wrong with that. Welcome to the building. I see Orlando Lewis is here. Hi to you. And Shaq is with us. Don't worry, the third member is here. Yo, for certain, and not just that. Since you're here, we've been talking about putting together a mock draft, and so we would definitely we'll talk more about it later in the show. But we definitely have Shaq as part about that. I don't think we're ready to talk Mike Evans quite right now.
He
He's
said
not
the
a rookie wide receiver, so
third member. That boy crazy. He said the third member. Hey, look, man, you're an
yo,
honorable member, so
there you go.
definitely, I can appreciate that. So,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
uh, but let's get into this, man. Let's
We
jump into
let's
this.
jump in. Where are we jumping?
Let's get into this tight end work.
All right, let's go.
Um, so tier one, obviously, we didn't have any, descriptions here. So Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, George Kittles, Kyle Pitts. I think in this just like I was saying earlier, if you want to get one of those top tight ends, this is the group to go for. Do you go high and reach for some of these guys, or do you feel, hey, I can sit back and wait? How do you feel?
I already told you. Shaq is saying Mike Evans is the Hall of Fame wide receiver. And you know how I feel. Travis Kelsey is the Hall of Fame tight end. So I'm going if there's a tight end on that list that I'm going real early, like let's say first round or early second, it's Travis Kelsey. Because to my knowledge, he is the only tight end in the history of the game to have 6 straight 1,000 yards receivers. I'm receiving yard years. So until somebody else can match that or come close to it, Travis Kelsey is a wide receiver who just happens to be an unstoppable tight end. So him, I'm going early for. The other guys, I'm not going quite as early, but they belong to, in my mind, in maybe second to late second, early third. If I'm trying to build my team with a top tight end, it's not usually my strategy, but if I'm doing it, Travis Kelsey's that dude. I know you love some other guy.
Hey man, come on, don't do my dog like that, man. Come on,
he's in the top tier. He belongs.
Now I do got one question for you. In a typical draft, without giving up too much.
Hey, my life is an open book. Anything y'all want to know, I'm giving it away.
What do you see like? What do you draft your typical tight end at, and what round would you say most people should to draft a tight end? And that could be a 2-quarterback league, 1-quarterback league, or however you want to do it, super flex, type thing.
Yeah. For a more standard kind of league, like I said, unless you're going for, in my mind, Travis Kelsey, you wait. There we go. Our Kansas City's producer knows. Travis Kelsey for me is a late first, early second guy. This based off the way things are lined up, I might put Mark Andrews up in that second round guy, but for the rest of them, third is as high as I would take any of those tight ends left in the top tier group. And if I, like I was saying earlier, if I don't do one of those guys, like sometimes there's a run on the positions. Like so, if I see all those guys going and I don't have a chance to grab one, I'm probably waiting till round 7, 8 before you even think about taking the tight end, because like you said before, after that top tier, everybody that left is just throw in, throw out kind of guys.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think even in this group, after you get past like those 5, but I feel like some of those, like a Waller or maybe like Andrews, has felt many years in the draft. I don't think he can do this year because of what he did last year, but I just think people kind of disrespect Andrews a little bit.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Darren Waller's injury history may be another issue that may come up and say, hey, do we take him early or do we kind of like Shaq make a good point? Do you sacrifice another position to get that tight end? Because that's essentially what you're doing anyway.
Yeah,
you sacrifice something else.
Exactly what you. And the only there's 2 guys I think on the list that I would sacrifice for, and it is Travis Kelsey because he's the greatest that there's ever been. It's Mark Andrews because he is the only person. Hey, last year Lamar threw to 2 guys. One of them guys ain't there no more. So
you're right about that.
So Mark Andrews is reliable source. But you going off something you mentioned about different league types. There's also the tight end premium leagues, where you get more points. Let's say, for instance, if you get a point per reception for a wide receiver, you might get 1.5 or 2 points for a tight end. And those, I'm sacrificing to get one of those top. No doubt. And we play in a tight end premium league, the Dynasty League we're starting. So don't be surprised if I'm jumping early to get my tight end squared away for a league like that. In some other leagues, it's not that important to me. I've gone both ways. And like Shaq says, it depends on the field and what everyone else is doing. If somebody's going to let one of those premier guys slip to like the middle of the second and I see the opportunity, I'm going for it. But like I said, if I miss out on it, then I'm just waiting till much later, and I'm going to get maybe it's one of those tier 2 guys that we'll talk about.
So I got another question.
Let me ask you one, because you asked.
Okay.
And welcome Anita to the show as well. I see her there. Thanks for joining us. We all know that you're a San Francisco dude. How early are you going for George Kittle?
I'm not giving that out. Man, stop playing.
Come on. The people want to know.
Come on, man. Like,
just give me a guess. Top 2 rounds, or
I'm a put it like this. I'm a guy. I like tight ends. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a guy that like tight ends, but I ain't gonna say how early I may go. It just depends on position wise where I'm going, if where I'm drafting from. So that's a big thing too. Because I remember last year I got Kittles in one league. I got him in like the 5th round. I think so. He lasted that long.
Okay, was this one of the 2 quarterback kind of leagues?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that okay. I was like the only. I was trying to imagine how George Kittle's in the 5th round, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I got him in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can play that game and try to wait to see if he's going to last that long, and then he might get snipped and somebody take him from you. But within the first 6 rounds for me, within the first 5 or 6, especially in a 2 quarterback league.
2 quarterback one. Okay.
Yeah. But now one is different. You know,
one. You can play that. Shot's talking about being in that tight, and that's actually he mentioned going double tight end on that turnaround. That's actually a legit strategy. We'll talk more draft strategies on another show, but we've spoken before about people go like 0 running back, which to me is still just the dumbest strategy there's ever been. Or how early do you go quarterbacks? One of them I was looking at a few weeks ago with someone talking about this exact same thing in the tight end premium. Go tight end, try to get 2 of those tier 1 guys. In a league like that, if you have like Kelsey and you combine it with like a Kyle Pitts, you're gonna have a monster year. So you sacrifice other positions, but for if it's a league that really rewards tight ends, it could, the calculus says it might be worth it.
So let me ask you this: would you go? So if you had a chance and you was picking, like say you was at the back end at 10, and you had a chance to pick Waller, say Waller and Andrews was still on the board, and you had a chance to go double tight end, would you go double tight end or would you go a running back tight end or wide receiver tight end, or would you choose one of the 2 best tight ends instead of a tier 2 wide receiver or in a tier 2 running back?
I don't think I would go double tight end. I respect the strategy, and I feel
I think that's a good strategy.
It can work. I don't think I have the guts for it because. Well, here's my deal. I told you there's 2 guys that I had the utmost of confidence in. Only those 2. George Kittle, my problem with him is he gets hurt too much.
I understand.
I'm a Darren Waller guy. I love the Raiders, but I'm on that same boat that you mentioned earlier. Last year, it kind of had me saying, I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to jump out too early for Darren Waller. Okay. And then after that, then the only other guy would be Kyle Pitts. And so it would be, could I match Travis Kelsey or Mark Andrews with Kyle Pitts? That one might have me thinking, okay, go double tight ends. But the likelihood for that, to me, seems kind of small. So not likely to happen. I'm probably going to go with a running back or a wide receiver. Try to get my consistent points. And then I'm fine with having a top tier tight end, and then filling in with somebody in the 2nd or even maybe 3rd round if it 3rd tier if it comes to that. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, me personally, I have ran with 2 tight ends before, and it works for me.
It can work in certain leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I've won one in the barbershop with 2 tight ends, so it works. It's just you gotta know how to do it. So
yeah. Especially you kind of need, going back to the comment about the field, you kind of need people in the field to, play right, if you will. You can't. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the wonderful thing about drafting. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. You can come in with one strategy, but based off what people are doing, you can flip it because the opportunity might present itself. So I leave it open if that happens. But I'm not going in planning to go 2 tight ends.
Okay, I'll take that. ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right. So we're going to hit the 2nd tier?
You got it. Good.
All right. So the next group of tight ends. Here you go, Justin. Zach Ertz. We definitely like him here. Mike Gesicki with Tua. It's kind of questionable. They brought in Tyreek Hill, but I think just because of we both talk about what we think about Tua, I think Gesicki still is going to have a lot of work coming in there. Dallas Goedert in Philadelphia. T.J. Hockenson missed a lot of time with injury last year, but he's still one of those top guys given opportunity. And we got Dalton Schultz working his way to the 2nd tier.
Okay.
So yeah, those are our guys. If you like, who do you like the most in that 2nd tier to be a potential 1st tier guy?
I like T.J. Hockenson, man.
Yeah.
I think T.J. Hockenson is still kind of that number 1.
Yeah.
I like St. Brown, but I think T.J. Hockenson, he got double teamed so much last year.
Right.
It was a shame. So I like T.J. Hockenson. Schultz had a fairly good year last year. Dallas Goedert, I really thought he was going to do more.
Yeah.
Once Zach
Once
Ertz left.
Yeah.
But he really didn't. And I think with them bringing in more receivers with A.J. Brown, I think that's going to take away from him this year. So now Zach Ertz is another one who could do well with no with the receivers being out for six weeks.
Nuke is gone. We already know DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss some time. So that's going to leave plenty of opportunity for Zach Ertz to shine in that one. Welcome Angelo to the show. He's talking Steeler Nation. We got a Steeler tight end we're going to talk about, and we're even going to get to a rookie wide receiver for you guys. So there'll be plenty of Steeler talk.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So
I mean, who you taking off this list?
If I'm looking back at the second tier tight ends, the name I actually really like is Dalton Schultz, for the same reason that we talked about Zach Ertz having a lot of opportunities with Nuke being out. I think there's going to be opportunities for Dalton Schultz in that offense because they're going to have some problems. It's CeeDee Lamb, obviously, number one, but we're still not 100% sure what Gallup's going to be given this year. There's a rookie wide receiver we're going to talk about, but for real, if you just ask me, other than the running game they have, I think Dalton Schultz is probably receiving wise, maybe their second target. So he should get a good amount of that offense for the Cowboys. So I'm going Schultz, and he's the guy I think you can probably sneak a bit later. Some others. Yeah. So
I'm talking like 7th, 8th round, maybe for some.
Maybe later.
Especially in that group, those guys, if you just want to skip over tight ends early, this group can kind of. They're not going to put up the same production as
they're not consistent every week guys.
Yeah. But they'll give you enough to satisfy you enough to win some games, I guess. Out of this group, which one do you see possibly being a tier 1 that could possibly jump in that tier 1 category?
I'm going again between Schultz and I think Ertz. I'm going to say Ertz probably has the best chance at tier 1. We've at least seen him be that before. So
okay, makes sense. I'm not mad at that. So we're going to go to the third, which is third tier, and this list is pretty big. So let me take the first half. Well, we did the fourth. I'll say we'll do the third.
You do the third. I'll do the fourth one.
Okay. Dawson Knox, Irv Smith Jr., Cole Kmet, Logan Thomas, Hunter Henry, Noah Fant, Dave Njoku, and Robert Tonyan, and Pat Ferry from Pittsburgh. I might have said that wrong. Friar move, something like that. I'm sorry, y'all. Out of this list, Logan Thomas.
We were both really big on Logan Thomas last year.
I like Logan Thomas, man. Don't judge me.
Nah, I mean, I'm not judging. Like I said, last year we were both big on it.
Logan Thomas.
I don't think I can ride that train this year.
Out of this list, either Logan Thomas or Robert Tonyan is the only two.
Only two?
Njoku, he got a big deal.
Njoku got paid a lot of money to be mediocre.
Yeah, he got a big deal. Hunter Henry's always hurt.
Hunter Henry is very much hurt.
I'm just Irv Smith Jr. No. Dawson Knox, maybe. I mean,
Dawson Knox is interesting. He was real touchdown dependent last year, but he put in. I had him on one of my squads. He put in some work on the occasion. Not like you said, nothing reliable. We're in tier 3, so we're this is basically my tight end is on a bye week. I'm picking this guy up off waivers if he's still available, or if you a type of person that carries a second tight end. Some people don't. Some people just say, "Look, I fill in with whoever." But yeah, these aren't going to be your league winners. But who I like on this list, I'm gonna throw one at you.
Who?
Bad quarterbacks or somewhat average quarterbacks rely a lot on their tight ends. There's
That's
two
true.
of these guys that I think they're not bad, but they're not great. Well, one of them is bad. I save him for number 2. One of them, the quarterback situation is iffy, but we saw Pat Freiermuth do have a good year-ish
With Ben
Roethlisberger. I think whether it's Trubisky or even better for me, Kenny Pickett, because rookies love their tight ends.
Ooh, it's gonna be Kenny Pickett.
I think Freiermuth is a really good option in this list. If I don't have one of those top guys I'm just looking for, I think he could have a really good year. And another one I'm gonna say, and this is gonna sound too crazy, because like you said on this list, a lot of these guys I don't like. I like Cole Kmet because
Why?
basically because I.
Okay, whatever. Okay. Say no more. I got you. I feel you.
Here's why. I like him.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you this. Justin Fields has nobody. There's Darnell Mooney, and then there's just Justin Fields.
That's true.
Commit, I think, is gonna be a nice little release valve that
Safety
should give
blanket.
him some time. If I'm gonna go another outside the box, but this one I actually like the quarterback for, but I just don't think he's gonna get the opportunities. I like Irv Smith on this list. I think Irv Smith could have a breakout year, but I have less trust in that one because I think Justin Jefferson is going to eat up all the air. The only way Irv Smith really becomes really relevant for me is if time catches up with Adam Thielen and he ends up missing a good amount of time. Then Irv Smith becomes a viable option.
Well, I think like Shaq makes a good point.
Yeah.
Trey is going to be the second receiver because we don't really know about these rookies and like let's be honest.
You don't think it's going to be Randall Cobb?
Randall Cobb is like 55
75
years old.
years old.
Randall Cobb is really past his prime, to be honest with you. He need to be. Yeah, I mean, but Sonny is going to be that guy that he going to depend on a lot because either it's going to be a rookie and Christian Watson, which we can talk about later, or either you talking about what is it, Scantlin?
Yeah,
they bring
Scantlin's gone. It's Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, who plays one game and don't show up no more after that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sonny might be the guy.
I think he's going to be one of those guys that'll probably be more touchdown dependent than anything else. But when you get into your tier 3 tight ends, you're not really looking for yards. You're looking for points, however they come to you. Yeah. And so if your backup tight end, for instance, is touchdown dependent, who cares? Because you're only putting them in for like that 1 week when Travis Kelsey is on a bye, and the rest of the time you don't need them. So yeah, I like Tunyon.
Okay, I like Tunyon too. I think he's the best out of this group, in my opinion.
The best is this group.
Yep. In my opinion, because I mean the quarter. I'm thinking about everything else around him.
I say this: he has the best quarterback in this group.
Yeah, everything
and
around him
not even close.
Do
you think Noah Fant has a chance at relevancy if Drew Lock is the starter, since they at least have some sort of chemistry with each other?
I don't even think Drew Lock can start personally.
You don't think he's gonna make the cut?
I don't know who's gonna start out there. To be honest with you,
somebody bad, no matter who.
They saying Geno Smith right now, so who knows with that? So
okay, he did it last year, so I guess it's possible. But I'm not putting any stock in that. I mean, hey, maybe your guy Jimmy G comes to the rescue.
They're not trading Jimmy G to the same interconference. That's just crazy. You basically taking the playbook.
Well, if they drop him like you think,
I mean, I hope they do.
Then it won't matter.
It won't matter if you right about that. But we changing the playbook anyway, so it don't matter. We're gonna change the whole playbook.
But you kind of have to because Trey Lance is a different kind of dude.
Different. Yeah, so it's all good. All right. I just don't know. Me personally, I ain't drafting nobody from Seattle if his name ain't DK. So.
All right.
Other than that, stay away from that.
We got one more group of tight ends for you all. We've got Cameron Brate, who could be really interesting with Rob Gronkowski retiring. Even though, I don't know, his wife said that she would not be surprised if he came back, if not this year, next year. We got Evan Ingram down in Jacksonville. Taysom Hill, who's officially a tight end, potentially. Austin Hooper in Tennessee. Hayden Hurst in Cincinnati. Albert Akubenum.
That's all right.
I practiced this. I promise you, I practiced his name like 12 times before the show started, and I'm still.
We are chopping up names tonight. It's okay.
Okwebunum, or something. I think it's like that. Jonnu Smith. Let's go to the name I know. Jonnu Smith of New England, and Adam Troutman, another New Orleans tight end, making the list. More so because we don't really know who you should trust between the two of those, but somebody is likely to be good. And CJ Uzama, who used to be in Cincinnati, moving over to the Jets. Is there anyone in this group that you actually like and would recommend people draft? These guys you might not draft, but if there were someone that you were going to draft, who would you go?
Shaq gonna like this one. I'm rolling with Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate is going to be
on this list too.
Going to be the guy this year. He's going to be, especially. I don't know if Godwin is going to miss some time early in the year. So Brady like throwing to his tight ends, man. You know that. So I think Cameron Brate going to be actually a good tight end this year. I think he may move up the ranks pretty quick as far as tiers. So I'm definitely high on him. Everybody else, Taysom Hill, he not going to scratch the surface of my roster. But I mean, he could be
good for some gadget plays here or there, but he's not going to be, I don't think, a reliable player you can go with. Yeah,
Jameis don't even throw the tight ends anyway, so it don't matter.
Jameis is going downfield.
Jameis don't even like throwing the tight end. What? Yeah. He open? No, we throwing it down the field, bro. Don't even worry about it.
Look, no. hey, Mike Evans is open enough. I'm going.
Exactly.
No, hold on, wait. No, we talking. No, I'm sorry. I forgot. I lost track. I was remembering the days when Jameis did play for the Buccaneers. No, Michael Thomas. Hopefully, it's open enough.
He gonna look at him like, nope. I don't want to throw to him. He could be wide open. Nope. Yeah, we gonna throw it to Michael Thomas down the field.
Yeah.
Nope.
So Shaq approves of your Cameron Brate pick. I think it's the only one of those picks that really makes a lot. There's some guys you might do flyers on.
These are real.
If I believe Evan Ingram is a possibility. I mean, I've tried Evan Ingram in other teams. Now he's with Jacksonville. I'm not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he can't be worse than he was last year. So if I'm thinking he's going to step up big time in year 2, maybe I go Evan Ingram, but nah.
Evan Ingram stay hurt.
I gotta see it first. Yeah, he's another one that stays hurt a lot.
Oh my gosh, he get hurt just walking on the field.
Yeah,
like I don't understand it. And he should be a good tight end, but we don't know how good he is because he's never. He
can't play.
Yeah, so
he can't be on the field long. We've seen him have good games, but again, by the time you get to your tier 4 tight ends, you're in a desperate situation, or you're just looking for some sort of backup. So those are probably your best bets. If you think there's a tight end that we snubbed, I can't possibly see who we snubbed.
Yo, he said Jameis like throwing to the other team.
No, he's better now.
Oh my gosh, he's having nightmares of Jameis from a couple years ago. It's okay.
Hey. Yo, if you throw me 30 touchdowns, I will allow you to throw 30 interceptions. So,
wow, that's. I mean, I will say this: Jameis won a lot of people some titles that year.
Exactly.
Interceptions. So I'll take him. That 33 interceptions don't mean nothing in our league. So that's like -1 points.
Yeah.
So
whatever. All right, so those are the tight ends. Now, if you were with us last week, we did wide receivers, but we told y'all that we intentionally left the rookie wide receivers off the list because we wanted to cover them in a bit more detail tonight. So, who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Drake London coming out of Atlanta.
A good pick.
I think Drake London could. My only concern with it's not even Drake London personally. It's more of the quarterback
Yeah,
situation.
it's completely the quarterback.
It's complete. So I think he could. Is he going to be like? He's going to come out and just be like a Justin Jefferson or something like that? I doubt it, just because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if he's a wide receiver 3 at best, maybe 4-ish. Somebody you're not going to start every week, but plug in if he started getting hot. But quarterback is the biggest issue.
For him. He was the first wide receiver taken in the draft, number 8. But like I said, he got into a very not enticing situation. But I guess you got to figure the Falcons are going to be really bad because they are all the time. And so after Kyle Pitts, maybe Cordero Patterson.
Okay.
Drake London is the guy, but he's not. For me, Drake London is one of my early picks in a dynasty league where I don't need him to produce this year, because I'm going to tell you right now, for redraft, Drake London is not even on my radar. Unless it's like the end of the draft and I'm like, oh, Drake London's around. Sure, I'll take a flyer. But he's not a guy I want to build a redraft team around. The dynasty, I'm more interested because, hey, the future is bright. He's a really good receiver, but not.
So what about garbage time points? Like, cause they're gonna be losing.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna be garbage time points, but it's still not. Hey, it's still not attractive. I got a high confidence. I don't go for wide receivers if I don't like their quarterbacks at all. I mean, no, even in garbage time, they can't go with it.
Okay, I give you that.
Yeah. After him, we've got a guy I'm a little bit higher on, but I've got quarterback issues with him too. Garrett Wilson with the Jets.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. Zach Wilson has been in the news a lot lately. No need to really get into why. It's non-football related.
Yeah.
But he was just awful last year. I think he can bounce back. They're putting some nice. Here's one thing I say about the Jets. Mm-hmm. They're putting some really nice pieces together. They've got Zach Wilson, who could turn out to be good. We'll see. He's not a guy I'm getting, but I like what's around him. I like their running backs. We talked about Breece Hall a few weeks ago. We still like Michael Carter that's there. Elijah Moore had a really good year given the situation. I think Garrett Wilson's an excellent add to that offense. And even when we were doing tight ends, we mentioned Uzomah being there. There's a nucleus of what could be a really good team. So Garrett Wilson was drafted after Drake London, but if I'm going to pick between those two, I'm going Garrett Wilson first.
I still think it's a bad quarterback situation. Yeah. I mean, Zach Wilson really wasn't good.
No, he was awful.
He was awful last year. Awful. Nobody really talks about how bad he was, but they talk about how good he was at the end of the season. Yeah. But I think it depends on how they use him. Right. Me knowing the coach, that's there, they run a similar offense as the 49ers because that whole staff is from there. So if they use him in the short, intermediate routes, but Zach Wilson can throw the ball down the field. That's one thing he can do. Yeah, but it's just he throw it in the dirt a lot too. So
and also like Shaq said about Jameis, he throws it to the other team. Like, he had that 4 interception game.
So that's another thing. Yeah. Also, he could be productive. It's just if Zach Wilson can give him the ball. That's the biggest thing. Now maybe Zach Wilson comes around this year and then he starts playing better early in the year. But I think Elijah Moore is probably going to be the receiver you take on that team anyway. Oh, yeah. I think he's the number 1. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's my opinion, though. He's not on my list like high to draft early or even like mid round personally. So he's somebody that can probably get late.
Very late. He's I'm looking at average draft position, and we're talking about somebody going in like the hundreds. So he's like maybe your 8th round. You say, Garrett Wilson, 9th round. Let's go for it. So
definitely.
You're not gonna spend a lot. This year was interesting because it was very deep with wide receivers, similar to last year. Where we saw Jamar Chase come in and break Justin Jefferson's rookie for the NFL since the Super Bowl era, at least that record of rookie receiving yards broken back to back of Jefferson then Jamar Chase. I'm gonna go on a limb, not bold prediction, and say no one's breaking that. It will not be broken a 3rd year in a row.
Man, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, with this next guy, I'm not saying he's gonna break the record, but I think he has the best chance of being successful right away, and that's Treylin Burke.
Oh, oops! I thought you're leading. I thought you were about to say somebody else. My bad.
No. I think he would be
really.
Yeah, okay. I think he's going to be force fed. We all know you don't like Tannehill, so we're just going to leave that out there. So, but I think he's a guy because they going to be dependent on him outside of the running game with Derrick Henry. But I think he's going to be a guy that you're going to probably say, and he built like AJ Brown. So
6'2",
I think they're going to force
225 pounds. He's a house.
So I think they're gonna rely on him a lot just because they don't have anything else. So he could be the one that's probably going to be more successful than a lot of these receivers are that's coming out. But he has a problem with breathing.
Yeah, he's been having asthma issues.
Yeah, so I think if he can get that under control, I think he'll be all right. Tannehill, we all know Tannehill. I mean, I got bold predictions that he's not going to last halfway through the season. Yeah. To be honest with you. That's
you
just
said
me.
That you think Malik Willis is going to take his job?
I think so.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. But that's just my theory. I think Malik can come in and take it. But I think Burks could do well. So
I say this. I like Treylin Burke's dynasty. I'm not feeling them this year. I can't go on... And it's because so in case people, I had Ryan Tannehill on 2 teams, and he completely shot me in the foot and took my chances at getting titles. I hate his guts. And,
oh my god!
that may jade my opinion. But I do like Treylin Burks. He ain't. He's not the first of these wide receivers I would go with, but in the dynasty league, my opinion changes dramatically. Because I think he is huge. he is going to give some defensive backs some problems. So I do like him as a player.
Wouldn't you say he's the number 1 receiver on that team right now?
By default. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Robert Woods is there. So
coming off ACL injury.
He's coming off a serious injury.
Yeah.
But he's got experience. But I think Treylin Burks is very likely. I agree. I think he's very likely the number 1 receiver, which you can't really say for a lot of these other rookies. So there is a chance. But I hate his quarterback. The name I thought you were going to say for our rookie quarterbacks is a guy like Chris Olave. I think he has, because of Jameis. I see someone's waiting for the Colts tight end. I mean,
not one.
There was not one.
It's not one.
Mentioned.
No,
I'm
sorry
about
not
that.
even. Yeah.
No. so no tight ends for the Colts will be mentioned on the show tonight. But back to Chris Olave. If Jameis is the starter all year and Jameis is unleashed. Because Michael Thomas, we haven't seen play in a while. Jarvis Landry is, I think, I say Randall Cobb was, 75? So that means Jarvis Landry is probably like 52. and he gets hurt very often in these very last years. So I think Chris has a chance to be the second and maybe the first wide receiver, depending on what we see from Michael Thomas. But
now.
even if he's the second wide receiver on this team, I do think we've seen Jameis Winston throw for 5,000 yards. For me, there's a lot of love out there. He's the guy I would target him in a redraft league because I do believe he's going to be fantasy football relevant this year. Only because of that offense, assuming this offense is going to be what I think it's going to be.
That's a tough take there. That's a tough one there. I don't know. You're right. We don't know about Michael Thomas. We don't know about Landry, but we do know this, that they are, if either both of them are healthy, they're coming in as the 1 and 2 wide receiver right now. They
definitely are.
Chris is coming in at the 3 at best. So are you in a redraft league, third receiver? Now, if you get them late-ish.
My premise is I don't think he's going to be the third receiver. My premise is something's going to happen, Michael Thomas or Jarvis Landry-wise, where he's going to get a chance to shine. And honestly, at this stage in Jarvis Landry's career, I would not be surprised if he gets just overtaken, even if healthy.
That could happen.
Yeah. If Michael Thomas is healthy, then there's no shot of Chris being the number 1. A healthy Michael Thomas is the number 1 no matter what.
Yeah, of course.
Jarvis Landry is a question mark. I think even as healthy, I think given some time, Chris Williams can get to the top of that. Well, not the top, but the second tier. So I'm loving him based on the fact that I don't think he's going to be a third option on that.
So basically, when they go 3 receivers, can you see it being Michael Thomas, Chris, and then Landry in the third in the slot? Because Landry's more comfortable in the slot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's more of a first down type of guy that'll get you the first downs and all that stuff. But I don't think.
Justin, he doesn't like I don't think he likes my Olave pick.
Sounds like Justin. Who do you like, Justin? You tell us.
Yeah, tell us. Justin. Hey, we don't claim to know it all. So
you tell us who you like, Justin. Come on now.
Chime
in a little bit.
Anyone in the audience, feel free to jump in on these wide receiver comments and let us know what you think about any of them. Stanton all okay. I don't want to get into that.
Now, this is one I will say this. I have talked bad about this receiving core because the rookies, they lost Tyreek Hill. So I talk bad. I have. I'm not going to lie. Skye Moore is one who could potentially. I may have been turning on. I might be on the fence just a little bit, not much. But Skye Moore is somebody who possibly could be a redraft receiver this year. A little bit, just a little, not much. Just because it's quarterback. He's in a great situation. And like I say, at the end of the day, McCole Harmon's been there forever or been there long enough to show what he can be, and he hasn't done it. I think the rookie might take over as the number 1 receiver anyway. We all know Kelsey's the number 1 receiver there, but Skye Moore may be that guy.
Skye Moore's been impressive. So I think that's definitely an opportunity. Kelsey is the dude. Skye Moore, I think, for the most part, really just landed in a really good. I don't think he has quite all the skill set as some of the other guys we talked about previously, but I think he just landed in like a wonderful situation, just because of the fact, like you said, Tyreek Hill is gone. Who's going to be the number 2? Juju Smith-Schuster's the obvious answer. They brought in Scantling because of his speed. Okay. We got you coming up soon, Justin. You got yourself back into my good graces with that comment you just made. We're not talking baseball, so that's why I ignored your other comment.
That's not baseball.
Baseball's not interesting.
Baseball.
No, he made a baseball comment earlier. That's when I said earlier I don't want to get into that. we not baseball was what we talked last year when the Red Sox were good. But anyway, getting back to Skye Moore, I think Skye Moore landed in a spot where he could potentially be maybe the second, because McCole Hartman was such a disappointment last year. There's a chance you could see maybe Skye Moore become the second wide receiver. I think Juju was the first wide receiver. Again,
I do not agree with that.
Again, Kelsey's the number one. I think Juju's probably number two. Who do you have as number two?
I don't agree. I mean,
as number one for wide receivers.
It's to me, it's more of a wait and see approach.
We can't wait and see. The name of the show is not wait and see. It's called
I'm just saying,
RJ Fantasy Football Talk. So talk. Who do you like?
Like for me, you don't like for me going into the season.
Yeah.
And I would say this, like I've been saying this, you don't know which one is going to be the number one receiver. We have seen Juju play with a great receiver. We know you don't like Antonio Brown. Let's just make that clear. But when he was with Antonio Brown, he had his best years. Let's be honest. But when Antonio Brown left and took that extra coverage away, but Juju became non-existent.
But as you said, he don't have to be the man in Kansas City. The man is Travis Kelsey.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, taking Kelsey out the equation because he's the greatest there's ever been. Who else? Who do you think is good? You're just waiting and seeing.
It's more of okay. You throwing a dart. If you're in the draft right now and you say, "Oh, I'm going to get Juju in the 7th or 8th round because I think he's gonna do work." Okay. No, not really. That's like more of a risk than anything to say I'm going to get Juju there early because we've seen what Juju did the last couple of years. He hasn't been productive. Even in Pittsburgh when they had two other, Deontay Johnson and all these other guys.
Okay. Yeah, Shaq knows.
Oh, my God. Look, I know. Look, he did to me, too. I'm just saying. If you go back and look at the stats, you go back and look at what he did, he had his best years with AB on the other side. When AB left and he became the number one, he either got hurt or he didn't produce. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm just saying he's not the number one with he's not the number one with Kansas City. The number one is unquestionably and has always been Travis Kelsey. And as Shaq said, that's when Juju can shine when there's somebody else. So we're just going to agree that I'm right, even if you don't agree.
No, we're not going to agree with that, and we're going to see. And I'm going to let y'all take Juju off my hands because I don't want no parts of Juju.
Anyway, we're not talking Juju. We're talking Skye Moore. And so we see some comments. Skye Moore saw a dark throw. Shaq doesn't really have faith in him. Skye Moore, to me, is a guy that he's more of a dynasty pick. There's only a few of these guys that I had listed as a person I would go with for redraft this year because, like I said, this is a deep wide receiver class, but I don't think there's the special talent that we saw the last couple of years. So none of these guys, except for like a Garrett Wilson or I want to say Drake London only because of when he was drafted, but like I said earlier, I'm not really a big thing, and I like Treylin Burke for the reasons that you said. Those are the three guys on this list that I really think are your really big impact players for year one. But, Skye Moore is going to be a good fill-in for some games.
Thank you, Justin, for that comment. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, you just for the record, I never said I wanted Juju. I'm just saying you should have a better year than those Steelers years.
I'm telling you. Go look at the numbers. Look at what he did, man.
Not number one. He is not the number one. He was
on the scene with the same team with Deontay Johnson, who you love, by the way. You love Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Deontay, he was the number one on that team.
Yeah. So which rookie do you want to go to next?
You go. It's your turn. I already went. I did Skye Moore. You go.
Yes, this is live. A comment from the racer. All right, let's see. Who do we have left? I want to talk a little bit about someone that Justin just mentioned. Christian Watson. You should love this guy because your guy, Trey Lance, was throwing
better believe
in that same team. Hey, North Dakota, let's do it. So we're gonna have two stars from North Dakota playing in the same year. I like Christian Watson because, quite frankly, there's Adam Lazard. Robert Tonyan. Like we said, Sammy Watkins, who's going to be,
he gonna have that one good
3
game.
He's going to be lights out, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns week 1, and you will not see Sammy Watkins the rest of the year because that's who Sammy Watkins is.
Yep.
So that opens the door for Christian Watson. I love finally. Now that Davante Adams is gone, they give Aaron Rodgers a good pick at wide receiver. So,
somebody got.
What do you expect from him?
I think he's going to be the one to step up because, like you say, Lazard is who he is. I think he's going to end up being the number 1 receiver in Green Bay, outside of Aaron Jones catching out the backfield. Yeah. I think they're going to be a run-heavy team, to be honest with you. But I think Christian Watson is going to end up being the number 1 on that team by the end of the year because I think he's going to be good, man. I'm telling you. He's going to be good.
Just asking about Tonyan. Yeah, we like Tonyan this year. My only issue with him is he's been more of a touchdown dependent guy, but you're not gonna put a high draft pick on Tonyan. So I'm okay with touchdown dependent tight ends because honestly, tight ends, except for those top tier guys, don't give you a lot of yards anyway. So yeah, Tonyan should be really good for that. So he for me is a potential breakout guy, especially with Davante Adams out. Maybe he gets more yards than he has in the past, but I think the touchdowns will still be there. So that's the reason I like him.
The only thing that I think is he got to spread the ball around this year. So he got to find somebody.
You're still on this kick that Aaron Rodgers can't spread the ball around.
Has he spread the ball around ever in his life before?
Yes.
No, he has not.
Yes. Not recently, but if you look, he had Davante Adams. There's no need to spread. Davante Adams is open with 3 people on him, so he hasn't had to spread the ball around. But in his career, he has. Before.
He has not.
What about the years when Jordy Nelson was there?
He only threw to Jordy Nelson?
No. Because he did. He did. He threw to Jordy Nelson.
He threw, and then he had Donald Driver. He threw to him a lot.
Went way back with there, but
I'm just saying. I know my history.
Look. Randall Cobb, before he turned 75, got a lot of. He and Jordy Nelson. One year in particular, I think they both. I don't know if they both got over 100 receptions, but they were both at least in the 90s together. And then there's thank you. You just filled in my brain cell for me, Justin.
I said
Greg Jennings. You didn't say Greg Jennings. You went back to Donald Driver. Greg Jennings is another guy who got a lot of receptions.
Was they there at the same time?
Yeah, he and Nelson were there at the same time. All of these things happened before Davante Adams was on the scene. Aaron Rodgers can pass the ball around. Like I said, he hasn't had to recently, but I'm pretty sure he still remembers how the job is done.
All right, okay, yeah. I give you that. We'll see. I'm just saying, whatever. Y'all, like I said, he got to learn how to spread the ball around. Because for the last 4 years, all he did was throw to Davante Adams 2,000 times. So stop it.
Again, Davante Adams is open with 4 guys on him. So, he didn't have to spread the ball around as much. But now he has a legitimate wide receiving threat in Christian Watson. And the point of the story is get Christian Watson, especially on your dynasty teams. And you can take a late pick on him for your other ones. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, my gosh. You crazy. I don't know much about this guy, but David Bell from Cleveland. Because Cleveland don't have nobody.
They have Amari Cooper and
that's it. I mean, people
and Joku apparently who got a bunch of money. Yeah.
Yeah, but can David Bell step in and be that number 2 over? Because honestly, in your mind, is Amari Cooper a number 1 receiver now?
He has to be.
No, I'm saying if you really thinking about
it. You mean not number 1 receiver on his team. You mean number 1 receiver as far as fantasy football? Is he a wide receiver? Not really, because I'm not 100% sure what this quarterback did. Until I hear a number of games we can expect Deshaun Watson, I'm not going to put my faith in Jacoby Brissett. So as long as Jacoby Brissett's the number one, the quarterback, then no. No one is a number one wide receiver for that Cleveland team with Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
That does not look like an exciting thing. The thing that gives David Bell some relevancy is, like you said, other than Amari Cooper, there really isn't anyone there.
And I just want to go back to Justin's question, saying,
about how you think Aaron Rodgers is overrated?
Yes, I do think he's overrated.
Yes, you do, and you're wrong.
I mean, how am I wrong?
Because he won 2 MVPs in a row.
And he stuck up the field in the playoffs. Like, stop it. Come on, man. Stop. No, not even. You can't even start with it. A-Rod has stuck up the field 3 years in a row in the playoffs, bro. No, he is so overrated. He shouldn't have won the MVP last year. So let's be real. Salty about what? Tom Brady should have won the MVP last year.
Well, I actually agree with that. I think Tom Brady was sensational
this man threw for 1,000 more yards and 4 more touchdowns, bro.
Yeah, but okay, if you're saying Tom Brady was better than Aaron Rodgers, then
he's overrated.
It's a pretty high bar when you say Tom Brady was potentially the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL.
They gave Aaron Rodgers the MVP last year because he had a better touchdown and interception ratio. Stop it, bro. They gave him that award because he can't win a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl in 12 years. Stop. He is overrated, bro. Stop it. Come on, man. You know I'm telling the truth. We talk about this all the time.
And I always say Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. I don't understand. Look, I understand you not feeling him last year. Of course, Shaq agrees that Tom Brady should be.
Tom should have won MVP last year. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. He should have won the MVP last year. Right. Aaron Rodgers is not that. I'm not knocking him as a great quarterback, but I think he's a little bit overrated personally. I think he's overrated for real. At the end of the day, he's got 1 championship in the last 12 years, bro. Stop it. Come on, man.
Championship count for the 49ers in the last 12 years, real quick.
We've been there. We've been to the championship. He ain't even been there. We beat him to get there. Stop it. We beat him to get to the championship.
Oh, they were in the building. Let me hit back.
Stop. He ain't even get there. We beat him the last 2 years to get to the Super Bowl, bro. To the NFC Championship game. He didn't even do that.
Here's the comment.
Remember he only scored 8 points last year? Stop it. You can't. Okay. There's no way you win in this argument.
You are in an army of one who thinks Aaron Rodgers is overrated. So let me go over here with Justin. A.J. Dillon is a super must draft this year. Because I look, people are sleeping on the Packers, I think, because Devontae Adams is irreplaceable. He's awesome. He's the greatest. But Aaron Rodgers is pretty good despite what you think. But with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, their backfield is going to be just monster good. I like what they've done with Tunyon and Christian Watson. I think the Packers are going to be a problem for some teams this year. Hey, they might even beat the 49ers in the playoffs. We'll see
every time they do it. And you know what the sad part is? Every time we played them, we was in Green Bay, and we always beat them. And so for Justin, I'm not saying Brady is the GOAT because I'm a 49ers fan. I'm never going to say he's the GOAT. I'm always going to say Joe Montana is the GOAT. So I'm going to just keep it 100 with you there. And him winning 1 Super Bowl in 2010. Stop, bro. 2010. And every other year they have gave him the MVP award.
How many Super Bowls did Dan Marino win? 0? I think Dan Marino is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I don't care if he doesn't have all the championships. So Aaron Rodgers is great.
So let me ask you, that Super Bowl, who did the Green Bay Packers have on the other side on defense? If you remember anything. They had Reggie White on the other side, one of the greatest defensive tackles, defensive ends to ever play this game. That's how they won the Super Bowl. It wasn't because of him. Let's be real now. Yeah, of course the quarterback can get the MVP, but he hasn't done anything since then. What has he done? Has he been to a Super Bowl since then? No. At least I can say we've been there. He ain't even been there.
So let's see. Let me try to get us caught up on some of these questions.
Stop it. Y'all crazy. He talking about Dame. Dame got to win a ring. Stop it. Come on, man.
Where was I? Yeah, the Packers did have a better record. So Dame is bad because
That's
he never won a ring.
basketball.
Yeah. We talking Damian Lillard. People, well, we're not on that topic, but people don't like him for some reason. I don't really understand how people.
Dame is loyal. That's the thing with Dame. Dame is loyal. He sticks with the team. He's not a job. He doesn't hop from team to team. That's why people don't like him. But that's on a basketball.
It's just crazy to me because, they're talking about, just mentioned the top 75 list, and people were mad that he's up there. I'm like, what are y'all even talking about? He's a great baller.
So you asking me when the last time we went. When is the last time he went to a Super Bowl? Can you explain that to me? When has the last time he was in a Super Bowl Sunday? 2010, bruh. Look it up. I know you ain't number like 18 years old, but look it up. The last time he's been to a Super Bowl was 2010.
But he was there and he won. So
he asked me when the last time we won.
Here's a question from our producer: do championships define a player? I think, unfortunately, they end up defining players a lot more than they really should.
As Charles Barkley.
And especially quarterbacks get in this thing. If you have it, like I said, Dan Marino, you can't convince me that there's 5 quarterbacks better than Dan Marino.
And they don't even put him in
a
the conversation.
Super Bowl. But they won't put him in. Yeah, they don't put him in that list.
They don't even put him in the conversation.
And it's idiotic to me because it's a team sport. So for me, championships aren't what make you, but the way it's done, it always ends up being that. Yeah.
Are you going? I know we were off topic, but it's cool. Are we going Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers? Both of them got the same amount of championships. Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers?
That is a tough call. I'm actually going to go Peyton on that. I'm a big Peyton guy.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Peyton.
But, okay. So in this conversation so far, we've mentioned 3 quarterbacks better than Aaron Rodgers. And you said Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Joe Montana.
Trent different. Like, you trying to tell me because he got one Super Bowl?
I just said I don't think the MVP is a regular season award.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying, bro. It's not. So, it's a regular season. He hasn't done nothing as a team to get the Green Bay Packers to a Super Bowl.
Except for that one that he did.
Except 2010.
Yeah.
Which was so long ago. That thing probably collected more dust than anything I know. Come on, man.
More dust than the 49ers last Super Bowl?
We was there. We went.
The Raiders were there.
We've been there.
That didn't go well.
Y'all ain't been there in a long time, brother. Stop it.
Only 19 years. Stop playing.
19? Oh, wow.
Let's go to another rookie wide receiver while we're at it. I'm going to go to somebody that plays for the Steelers, since we got a Steelers fan. At least we had one earlier. George Pickens. I don't think there's a lot of room for him to be successful this year, honestly.
No, not really.
But I think he's a good, again, dynasty pickup. But the 2 problems that bother me with George Pickens is, one, the quarterback situation, whether it's Trubisky or whether it's Pickett, not really feeling a whole bunch of that. However, the other issue the other issue is the fact that there's some pretty good wide receiver. Pittsburgh is putting together a wide receiving core.
They have a good one.
It's just gonna be stupid. Mm-hmm. If you put Freiermuth in there with him, along with Deontay Johnson, who I love again, Chase Claypool. I was disappointed a little bit last year, but if he's going to be. If George Pickens, ends up raising up, if he's gonna have a more backseat role, that Steelers, they don't have a good quarterback until Pickett's ready. But I 100% think that the Steelers wide receiving core is looking really good, and it should be really attractive. Yeah, Peyton does have 2 rings.
He does. I forgot he got one with Denver. I'm sorry. Yeah,
you disrespected him.
Justin, you don't like getting me mad, Justin, because I always speak the truth.
Well, you always speak your truth.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. He said the 49ers game was some BS. No, he didn't show up. And he tried to show up, and he didn't. They only scored 10 points. Let's be real. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Yeah. The Angelos with us. That's our still. Yeah, George Pickens. I think that was he fell in another guy who fell in a really good situation. Like I said, I don't expect a lot from it this year as far as fantasy football is concerned. But that's a good player. I hate to speak well of a player from Georgia because Georgia Tech. I don't like anything UGA, but except for except for my little cousin that's going to UGA. But other than that, not much. So yeah, you got anybody? Who's next on your group of rookies?
Not nobody worth talking about.
What? I thought you were a big fan of one of these guys.
I tell the guys I was a fan of. We're gonna get back to this Justin thing though, because Justin getting at me tonight. I like that though.
Well, since you're gonna have an argument with Justin, I'm gonna go to Alec Pierce. We didn't have any tight ends worth mentioning for the Colts. But here's what I like about Alec Pierce. One, he's pretty good. Played for those Bengals. And since, well, not the but Bearcats, they're same thing. Up in Cincinnati. But here's what's good about him. Name the healthy, reliable wide receiver in Indianapolis that's not named Michael Pittman Jr. You can't, because it doesn't exist. and so with Matt Ryan being there, I think Alec Pierce has a chance to put up some really decent numbers. Again, at this point, we're not really looking for a whole lot of production this year. But for dynasty purposes, I think he is a sure enough grab. And don't be surprised when I grab him in our dynasty league if y'all slip on him. Because, hey, Matt Ryan can't play forever.
You're right about that.
But while he's there, I think Alec Pierce can control. And like I said, there's no competition other than Michael Pittman Jr. That wide receiving core is just the most injured. Next to the Giants from last year, they're the most injured core wide receivers in the league. So I think this is opening up great for him, if no one else.
Yeah, I mean, he gonna end up being a second receiver. Michael Pittman is number one.
Yeah.
So he's definitely gonna be the number two. So yeah, I can see him doing well this year. I did forget one, Jameson Williams.
I was saving those for later. I didn't think that's not the guy I thought you were gonna. But let's go to Jameson Williams while we're at it but we have to talk about him as a tag team, because Jameson Williams and John Mechie III both played with Alabama last year. Both tore their ACLs at the end of the one in the championship game, the other one in the SEC conference championship. They both ended up on some really, really bad teams. But I think there's a lot of opportunities in those bad teams. Tell me what you like about Jameson.
I like Jameson. There's a lot of opportunity there for Jameson. I'm not really high on golf, per se. I'm not a big golf fan. But I think they're going to be losing a lot, and I think there's going to be a lot of games where he can grab. That's why I say garbage time points. When I say, like, would you pick a receiver knowing that it's possible that he can pick up? Because that's how St. Brown really got big last year because of garbage time points. I think he could be that type of player this year where when it comes down to them losing a lot of games, he'll be the guy that benefits from that a lot. So, I think.
Do the ACL injuries scare you off for redraft on either of these players?
No, not with today's way they do surgery with ACLs and these guys coming back pretty early, 4 to 6 months. So I would definitely say no. Surgery is different nowadays than it was back then. So I can see them coming back, definitely. So
I think they'll both be back this year. It just worries me a bit about when they'll be ready in both cases. But for me, I think these two are dynasty steals.
Oh, definitely.
If you can get them, because name all the wide receivers from Alabama if you can. The list is just crazy. Jerry Jeudy, unfortunately Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith.
The last 2 years.
They have put out double.
Seven. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, so they're the truth. So I like both of those. Good question. Do you like Cooks or Pittman Jr.? Brandon Cooks, I'm assuming that is.
I like Cooks. I love Cooks. I like Cooks just because Cooks can play with anybody. And Cooks has played well with many different quarterbacks, and he still produced big numbers. So I think Cook's gonna do well this year with Mills back there because I think Mills. I'm not like super high on Mills, but I think Mills is gonna be a good quarterback this year. He may be a good third, honestly, for if you need.
I really like Pittman with Matt Ryan this year, but if I'm going, and what I always say is for fantasy football, I'm going with consistency over everything else. And Brandon Cooks is just reliable, 1,000 yards receiver. So if I have to pick between the two of them, I'm probably going Brandon Cooks, but I'm with Justin. I'm targeting Pittman in a lot of leagues because I think, hey, until Matt Ryan doesn't throw for 4,000 yards, I always believe Matt Ryan can throw for 4,000 yards.
Of course, yeah.
Even with Jonathan Taylor being the core of that offense. So I really like Pittman this year.
I mean, I do too. I think Pittman. I like Cooks better. Pittman was well. The only thing with Pittman had a lot of down games last year where he didn't show up. And that's probably more on the quarterback last year.
A lot of it's the quarterback. A lot of it was his youth. So, he's got another year to rely on. So,
but can Matt Ryan treat him like he did in Atlanta with why am I having a brain fart?
Calvin Ridley?
Not really. Yeah, with Calvin Ridley.
Before he got into a gambling problem, I think he has to, because like I said, there's not a lot of reliable guys in that wide receiving core. So I think Pittman's going to have a lion's share of targets, and that's the other reason I kind of like Pierce, just because T.Y. Hilton is just never reliable, and the other two guys that they have, whose names I can't even think of right now, they're so inconsistent and always injured. So,
how early do you go Pittman? In your mind, how early would you go?
Pittman for me, he's not a guy I'm going to target as my number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe around round 4 is where I start looking for 4 or 5 is probably where I start looking for Pittman. I know his average draft position now is somewhere around between the 40s and 50 range, but for me, 4 or 5 is probably where anything high, and 4 only in the late part of round 4. I don't think he's for the way I typically build my fantasy football teams. I'm not gonna pay like a 3rd round or early 4th round pick for Pittman, but I wouldn't do it for Cooks either. And that's another thing I like about Cooks is he'll usually slip. Much lower than that, so he can get a lot of value for.
He's
Cooks
definitely going. Cooks always falls.
Yeah, Cooks
I don't understand.
Falls. No one even thinks about Cooks until like the 8th round. So,
I know, and they be like, man, Cook's he's still on the board. Yeah, he's still on the board. Don't nobody think about him though. But that's just that's quarterback play though.
Yeah,
that's the team he's on. That's quarterback play, and a lot of people kind of say, well, I'm gonna stay away from him because of that, which I don't think is fair. I think Cooks is just he does it with any quarterback, which is insane. He's remind me of Scary Terry a lot, where he just does it with every quarterback that comes in. So yeah, and T.Y. only good for one game anyway. I agree with you on that, Justin.
Yeah, just with you. All right, we got 2 more guys, and this is the one I thought you were going to mention earlier, but I'm glad you went with Jameson Williams because I wanted to definitely make sure we talked about those 2 guys. I think those are going to be some good picks for the future. But I thought from all of our conversations, you were going to go with Johan Dotson. I thought that was your dude.
I forgot about that. I forgot about Johan Dotson. Speaking of Scary Terry, Terry is
exactly. There. Speaking of Scary Terry,
Johan Dotson is the bona fide number 2. He's coming into camp. They already said he's a number 2 receiver. So I think he could. It's the quarterback.
Yeah,
it's definitely the quarterback. I think they're gonna be run heavy anyway, but I think Scary Scary Terry gonna get his, but I think they're gonna be a kind of like run heavy. He should do well this year. It just depends on the quarterback.
I think so.
So,
Speaking of quarterbacks, I don't like Carson Wentz.
oh
It's
my gosh,
just hard for me to get behind and believe in anything with him. Hey, you burn me once, you just on my list. But I agree with you. This year is setting up to be a good one for him. I'm actually interested to see what the Commanders look like this year. We need Tony on the show to give us the rundown because he's the Commanders expert. But just to me, there's so many players I kind of like with that team. Scary Terry is the only one I really feel strong enough to say, yeah, I'm going to target him. Antonio Gibson, I like. I think injuries messed him up a bit last year, but I just can't get a real good read on how Ron Rivera feels about Antonio Gibson because I think he should be a workhorse, but I don't think he will be. At least we haven't seen it happen.
He did 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah, he did 1,000 yards.
Rushing, so
yeah,
I mean, they think highly of him. It's just I don't think they use him as much as they need to.
I feel like this. I think Antonio Gibson should be an RB1. I think he ends up being more RB2, just because of the fact that I don't think he gets the usage. And here it is. I was so very high on him getting Christian McCaffrey type usage, and we never saw it happen. So I have a very high bar of what I expect when I think Antonio Gibson, and I just feel like I'm always disappointed. So in this case, Johan Dotson, I think could be interesting, only because, like you said, after Scary Terry and Logan Thomas gets hurt a lot, I think he should be good. One last dude, and we're done. Going from the Commanders to the Cowboys. Jalen Tobert. Is there room for him this year?
I'm afraid of who is. CeeDee Lamb is obviously the number one.
Yeah.
Everybody else behind him is questionable.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can step in and be the number two, but I think they paid Gallup. Is it Gallup? Not Galladay, but
Michael Gallup.
Mike Gallup, big money.
Yeah, they did.
To be the number two, but he's coming off of a ACL injury, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I don't know how well he's gonna play. I don't even know if he's gonna play early in the year, to be honest with you. So it could be a chance where he could come in and take that number two.
Yeah.
And run away with it and just go for it. But I don't know.
I mean, aside from Dalton Schultz, who we mentioned on tight ends that I really like, I see my aunt rooting for the Cowboys. Just James Washington there, but he can't catch the ball. So I think that there's a really strong chance for if there's a case for Jalen Tobert being relevant in fantasy football this year, it's the fact that Gallup's going to miss some time. And we still have to see what he is after injury, but I like his shot. I see just asking about Tony Pollard, who I think is a good. He catches out of the back. He does a lot for that team. He and Ezekiel Elliott back there. I think both he and Ezekiel get a lot of play. Cedric Wilson.
I mean,
he's not a week in, week out guy. So that's why I think Jalen Tobert at least has to. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think Tobert definitely has a shot at being the second wide receiver, at least after CeeDee Lamb. But even still, at best, he's probably still only third or fourth option on the team because, like they've got two running backs that can catch out the backfield. They've got a tight end who's really good. So. He might be more intriguing, like for a dynasty league again.
I mean, and they talking about they running Pollard in the slot a little bit this year, so they say they're gonna run him out of the backfield to the slot because they want to keep him on the field a lot.
I get you now. I was expecting Pollard to overtake Ezekiel Elliott last year. It didn't happen, and Ezekiel Elliott was silently good last year. So I don't have that same expectation this year.
And they
But
say
Pollard's
he's
going to
coming in
be
better
Pollard is way too good to not be involved in that offense. So
well, that's why I think early in the year with Gallup out,
Yeah.
if he does miss any time, I think Pollard is gonna be
Yeah.
more of a slot receiver. He's
Yeah.
gonna get a lot of that action early in the year, and then when Gallup come back, then we'll see. Gallup is fast. He's good, but I think now the question is when CeeDee Lamb get double teamed, because we seen CeeDee Lamb last year when he was supposed to take over that number one role. He didn't really show that he could live up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but we definitely gonna see. But I just don't know, honestly, to be real with you. We'll see. I mean, but a lot, like you said, a lot of these rookies are not gonna just come out and be a splash like Jefferson and Chase and all those guys. Yeah, you ain't seeing that.
How many last year? I think there was 3 rookies, counting Kyle Pitts, that had 1,000 yards. It was Jamar Chase. I know Jalen Waddle had over 1,000. I think Kyle Pitts is the only other guy.
Jalen Waddle had a total of 1,000, but I think he
had 1,000 receiving.
He only had 9. He had 980 something.
Well,
he didn't hit 1,000.
I'm gonna round up to 1,000.
Okay,
in that case,
that's fine too.
So, how many of these guys do you think have that opportunity this year?
Or
not many. Any of them? Yeah.
I don't really see. The only one I see is the kid from Tennessee.
Yeah,
I think that's the only one because I think he's going to be Treylin Burke. He's going to be force fed, and I think
he's the only one that's a definite number one wide receiver. Yeah,
because they have to. I mean, because immediately when they made that trade on draft night, because we was watching it, when they made the trade and they traded A.J. Brown, they drafted him coming in. They wanted him to be that number one guy. So I think they're going to actually force feed him the ball. Anyway, I think he has the best shot of doing 1,000. Now, everybody else is kind of up in the air. They need a lot of other things to go wrong for them to be in 1,000-yard kind of game or whatever. So I just don't. I mean, he's about the only one.
Yeah, I think he's the only one that's surefire number one target on the team. Maybe Drake London. I see Justin said he's fading Pitts this year. I don't know. I like Kyle Pitts. I think he's probably going a bit higher in some people's minds than he maybe should. But I think he still belongs in that top tier of guys. Who do you get? Who do you get winning the NFC East?
Ooh,
we know it's not the Giants.
No, not even.
So
it ain't the Giants. It ain't Washington.
Washington.
It's a toss-up between Dallas and Philly. I'm not big on Jalen Hurts like everybody else is. I'm gonna say Cowboys, man. It hurts me to say that, but I'm gonna say the Cowboys. Yeah. Philly got a better receiving core, but I think
Cowboys have a better quarterback.
They have a better quarterback, so I think Jalen Hurts has a lot to prove.
Who do you have as the better defense between the two?
Dallas. I think their secondary is really good.
The secondary is pretty good, yeah.
They're obviously their linebackers are good. They got a really I think it's Dallas.
Yeah.
I think Philly got a better running game. They run the ball really well. But
remember, Miles Sanders said, "Don't draft him."
Yeah, I know. If you go quarterback for quarterback, I think Jalen Hurts doesn't beat out Dak personally, in my opinion.
I'm gonna reluctantly agree with you and say I think the Cowboys are probably the division winners, but it's a really bad division, so. We'll see where it goes. We got other comments.
Just a boy.
He said she thinks Matt Ryan might get a ring this year.
Okay.
The Colts are going to be competitive. They definitely have. They're a team with a really good shot now that they have a really good quarterback. They're not going to be my odds on favorite.
That AFC is.
But the Colts just blew it at the end of last year. They had me really questioning.
They should have been in the playoffs.
They should have been.
Jeez, come on, man. They should have been in the playoffs. Like, stop.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who do you got winning the AFC West? And will Kansas City still be? You still got Kansas City fourth in that division?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you're wrong. But who do you got winning? The Chargers, or do you go with the black and silver?
I got the Chargers.
You're
actually,
wrong.
I got the Chargers winning the division. I got y'all second. I got Denver third, and I got KC fourth.
I'm not feeling people on Denver. I've seen a lot of stuff where people have Denver ranked really high, so you're not alone in being wrong. But no, that defense is phenomenal. I give them
defense
that.
phenomenal.
But
adding Russell Wilson.
People make the analogy that it's like when Peyton Manning came in the team and they were just set. I don't think this team is that. I think people are highly overrating the offensive weapons other than Russell Wilson. I don't think he's walking into a situation quite like that. Here's the argument for Denver winning the championship, winning the AFC West. Forget about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
They will rely on defense, and that's going to put them over the top where their offense only has to do so much. Here's the problem with that line of thought.
Okay.
I think by far the Broncos had the best defense in the AFC West just a year ago.
That's true.
It did not work out well for them. And everyone else in the division has beefed up their defenses, especially the Chargers. So if there's a threat to my Raiders winning the AFC West, it's going to come from the Chiefs because they've been doing it for how many years in a row. And it's going to come from the Chargers because I think they did a really good job of improving their team. So I still got the Broncos last because
let me ask you this:
enough.
Yeah. Out of all those teams in the AFC West, if you had to rank the defenses 1 to 4, what do you go?
Easily Broncos 1, Chargers 2, Raiders and Chiefs don't play defense to my knowledge.
So basically, what I'm saying here is it has to. Somebody gonna have to play defense at some point to win these games because every team has a high-powered quarterback in that division, so it's gonna have to be some defense played. And we all know Kansas City don't play any defense.
No, they don't. They don't believe in defense. No.
They don't believe in defense.
Not even a little.
So it's not a shot at Pat Mahomes. It's not even a shot at Andy Reid. It's a shot at the fact that they don't play defense.
But they haven't played defense the last 3 years.
I mean, but honestly, Denver has gotten better. I feel
everybody in the division is better. That's for certain.
Yes. The Chargers' defense is crazy. Russell Wilson's going to make that receiver.
The Chargers scare me. So I'm feeling you on the Chargers being one. I don't think it's going to happen, but a lot of that is wishful thinking. But I'm not feeling the love for the Broncos like a lot of other people. We got one last question, and this is coming from Justin, and I'm not going to answer you, Justin, because I don't. Here's my argument. Here we go. Looking at it objectively,
okay,
the Yankees are really, really good this year.
Yes, they are.
However,
and I don't know much about baseball. I don't know much about baseball, but I do know they're good this year.
However, the Red Sox aren't dead yet. It's All-Star break. We coming out gunning the second half of the season. We saw that series recently, and then we got our butts kicked the next time we played the Yankees. What was that game, like 14-1? It was a really bad score. But something is going to happen where the Yankees don't win the World Series. I don't know what it is yet. Red Sox, second half of the season. You better be ready for it.
I mean, you got time tonight, or you?
What?
You got time? We can keep going. I'm good.
You want to give your World Series prediction?
No, I'm just saying in general. Like questions have come in, we can keep going.
Oh yeah, if there's a question, there's no problem. Nita says that the way the Jets drafted, they may be a team to watch. Like I said earlier in the show, I think the Jets are building a very interesting team. The only thing that goes against them is they're the Jets.
Yeah.
And
they're not, honestly, the Jets are not going to do much this year. Yeah, that AFC just in general is just too good. Like, and just forget about the AFC West. Yeah. We talking like Buffalo, Baltimore. Like, they have no shot of making the playoffs.
Oh, I wouldn't say they have no shot at
They
making
don't.
the playoffs.
It's
going to be tough.
All right,
treading.
name the top 7 teams in the AFC right now.
Well, I'm just going to stay in the AFC East, and the problem with the Jets is one, the Patriots, and two, the revamped Dolphins. I think the Jets are probably the third. No, wait. Who did I just forget? The Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills, yeah.
So yeah, the Jets. Yeah. The Jets forget the rest of the AFC. They're gonna have tough sledding just in the AFC East, and so that's their biggest thing. And New England's got a chance. Did I lose Rodney?
Oh, you froze up. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
on
my screen you're going. But yeah, the Fins just as it has no chance. New England has a chance. It's the Bills. Forgive me, number one. I think New England's probably number two. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are going to fight it out for third in that division, and a lot of that fight depends on how good Tua's going to be, because
that's the biggest question.
If Tua can play well, the Dolphins might be interesting to watch. If Zack Wilson can get his life together and make a big second year improvement, the Jets could be fun to watch, but yeah, I think it's just too stacked against them. Yeah, but for the future, they got some interesting things going
on. Breaking news: we got some breaking news. Speaking of tight ends, Cal Rudolph just signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I don't care at all.
Does that do anything for you?
Cal Rudolph has been such a disappointment. I'm talking about 6 years ago. I went on a limb on Kyle Rudolph being the next coming of Rob Gronkowski, and he never lived up to it. With the Buccaneers, the only thing about that is, man, that makes it harder for Cameron Brate.
Yes, it does.
As the Bucs also drafted a rookie whose name I don't remember off the top of my head, but that rookie wasn't going to be very relevant because I think Cameron Brate was going to be the guy. But with Kyle Rudolph there, I might knock Cameron Brate down a level on our tiers. That's interesting. Making the playoffs, Justice says, is Kansas City, Chargers, Pats, Bills, Ravens, Colts, Titans. He left off the Raiders. That's
off the Raiders. I seen that. I was Lord.
Yeah. There you go.
He left off the Raiders.
Yeah, he left off the Raiders. I understand. It's a slight oversight on your part. But
so, hold on. Speaking of that, so we're going to stay right here.
Yeah.
If you had to take one of those teams off for the Raiders, who are you taking off?
The Ravens. The Ravens come off the list, and the Titans come off the list.
Because you had to take one team off.
Let me tell you why. The Ravens come off the list. The Titans come off the list. What he also failed to put up here is the Bengals. And you can't tell me the Bengals aren't going to be. So you can take off Ravens and put Bengals in their place.
Okay.
Cade Oden. Thanks, Justin. Good looking out. But with Kyle Rudolph there, he's probably completely irrelevant for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had a chance at being somewhat relevant if it was just him and Cameron Brate. Mm-hmm. As much as I don't believe in Kyle Rudolph, I believe he will suck up enough air in that room because, yeah.
Okay. So you said take off the Ravens and take off the Titans.
Replace the Ravens. And also, well, if we're speaking honestly, because it's not going to happen, we really should take off either the Chargers or the Kansas City Chiefs, because we could have had 3 teams in the playoffs a year ago if the Chargers played ball the way they should have, but I don't think that happens this year. I think the AFC West is going to be too tough for 3 teams to make it this year.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I think two at most.
Yeah.
Baltimore, he said he believed in Baltimore. I think Baltimore could. I just don't. That trio, man, in Cincinnati is dangerous, man. Yeah. And they got a good Joe Mixon is good.
Joe Mixon is going to be a stud this year.
The defense is not bad. They're not half bad. Their only problem was really O-line, to be honest with you. And I think they kind of fixed that this year a little bit. A little bit. So I think all three of those receivers plus Mixon, I feel like you gotta put them there. Man, that's a tough division though.
The AFC is going to be really, really good this year.
Definitely.
It's going to be something to watch. I'm going to tell you right now, the Super Bowl champion will come out of the AFC. You heard it here first. Sorry for your team, but
wow. Okay. All right.
The AFC is going to be tough.
Okay. All right. So, do you see the Rams having a Super Bowl slump this year?
Well, we know what the Rams are going to look like because based off last year, they've probably got another $20 million they're going to pull out of nowhere.
Yo, I don't know where they be getting no money from. I'd be asking the question. Like they have no draft picks for the next 15 years. I mean, like this is insane, bro. Like
what are the bleep those draft picks? Like, whatever. Who do you got? And we both, I know exactly who you're going to say. CMC or Eckler, come on.
Eckler. Let me tell y'all something, man. CMC, in my opinion, is not a top 10 running back this year. If you take away, I understand all what he did 3 years ago. I just can't put him there because of injuries. Because my thing is that if you saying CMC is still a top running back, you got to put Saquon in the same conversation because both of them been injured the same amount of times.
Okay.
So you got to put them in the same conversation. You got to say, okay, Saquon and CMC, because they both been injured, but they were successful early in their career. CMC has not been on the field the last 2 years. How do you put him as either 1, 2, or 3? It's hard for me to believe.
I still have him top 10 based off potential, but I don't have him in my top 3. He's more for me. He gets the Saquon Barkley treatment from a year ago because we saw Saquon fall to the back of the first round last year, and he's falling back even further this year. I push CMC back to that back half of a first round. I'm not. After being burnt 2 years in a row, I'm not putting a high draft pick on CMC ever again until I see him do a full year.
I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. For me, he's not there for me. I think I can name 10 running backs that I'm taking ahead of him right now, honestly. Because CMC, he'll play the first 2-3 games, but after that,
he might not make it through the first year game.
He might not make it through the first half of the season. And then you could be like, you wasted a high pick on him. Yeah. When you can say Eckler, who you know, Eckler loves fantasy football, by the way.
Yeah.
And he strives to get points for anybody that picks him. So Eckler won me mad games last year. Justin knows this. So I'm just saying, it's crazy. I ain't touching CMC.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
All right, let's see what else we got. Raiders Nation filled out the Uptown Comedy Club. If you're in the Atlanta area, you need to be up there at the Atlanta Uptown Comedy Corner. Let's see who it was. We got tight end draft strategies. You like tight end early or tight end late and quarterback early or quarterback late in the one quarterback lead?
One quarterback lead, tight end early or tight end late.
I say yes, tight end early or tight end late. It depends on which tight end you can get.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting Kelsey or anybody in that top 5, I'm obviously going early.
Here's my strategy. If I'm like at the back of the first of the draft, like let's say I'm like somewhere 10 through 12, I might take a Travis Kelsey grab there, and then I just go quarterback a little bit later and try to build up like my running backs and wide receivers. But if I'm early, if I'm early in the first round, there's no way I'm going tight end. And that's probably going to take away your opportunity to grab someone like a Travis Kelsey. And in that case, I'm probably reversing it and going the other way.
I mean, but
a lot of it's going to depend on what the people in the league are doing.
Yeah.
But
if it's a super flex league where tight ends get more points, tight ends a premium, then yes. But
yeah, if it's a tight end premium league.
Yeah, but if it's a quarterback league or a quarterback where they get more points than the tight end, obviously, you go. I feel like you're in that top 5 or whatever, you go quarterback early and get one of those, because any one of those quarterbacks in the AFC West is going to be like gold this year.
Derek Carr, especially, yeah.
MVP. Go again.
MVP Derek Carr coming up.
So I think at the end of the day, if you got one of those quarterbacks, I think you'll be fine. Tight ends, yes, they're top heavy, but I feel like maybe somebody like Andrews may slip down for you, even though people don't really draft Andrews high like that. Even though he have good years.
I think they will this year. I think this year he's gonna be drafted a little bit earlier than you normally would have to invest. But yeah, for me, you know, if I'm going early on tight end, I'm going early because I'm picking up Travis Kelsey. That's about it for me. And I do like Andrews. I'd say it at the top of the show. He's another one I would be willing to do a high pick on, but not first round high. Travis Kelsey is worthy of a first round pick on that back end. Definitely early second round.
Yeah.
And if I don't hit on that, then you know the other guys we talked about, like Andrews or Kittles or even Pitts for that matter, kind of have to fall to me around the third before I'm interested.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the good thing about a one quarterback league is you can go real late on your quarterbacks, and so I generally tend to do that kind of strategy because there's 32 guys. If you can't tell me you can't get a top 15 to 12 quarterback if you wait till 6th, 7th round if you want to in a one quarterback league, because that's a time where you can really get a value guy.
Okay.
For instance, you could get a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
Real late in a one quarterback draft, in a one quarterback league, and win your league by building up all your other positions. So I'm for one quarterback leads, unless it's a very quarterback friendly rating system, I'm all for delaying. Unless it's someone like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. If I have like a very
that's what I'm saying. If you're in between 1 and 3,
yeah,
you gotta go quarterback if you 1 to 3, because even
if I'm 1 to 3 in a one quarterback, I'm gonna use that for one of those top running backs like a Jonathan Taylor. It would be for me in a one quarterback league. Jonathan Taylor is my default setting for my.
So what if it's a 12? What if it's a 12-man league? Well, 12-team league where you have one. You want Jonathan Taylor at 1, or are you going? Okay. You think a quarterback?
I think my top 3 picks in a one quarterback, if I know it's a league where I can delay and pick up, like I said, someone like a Kirk Cousins or even a Matthew Stafford, who's not going to go that high, but you know he's going to have consistent production, then I'm using my first picks on because there's so few running backs that get the ball consistently. And I'm thinking of a Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, not for rushing, but for total. And then I'm done. After that top 4, because I used to be high on Dalvin Cook. He gets pushed back a little bit later. I'm still kind of high on Aaron Jones, but I don't think I would go higher than like 7 to 10 maybe if I don't try the tight end strategy. But a lot of it's going to depend on who I'm going with. But for me in a one quarterback league, I'm going to wait. And here's a guy that you'll probably and you've never been able to say this, and I know you're going to absolutely love this pick. A guy you can go late for quarterbacks on this year that you never had the opportunity to before is to go Aaron Rodgers, because a lot of people are slipping on Aaron Rodgers, where he is. I mean, he's going in like the 8th round So,
Yeah.
for average draft pick position, so there's certain guys that I'm willing to wait, and I just want to stack up skilled players as much as possible. 2 quarterbacks, whole nother story.
Oh, yeah,
Super flex,
definitely.
a whole nother story. But 1 quarterback, I'm waiting.
I guess. I mean, with me in a 1 quarter, if I'm sitting at 1 and it's a 12, and you got to wait that wrap around, it. I guess it depends on points and how.
Yeah.
If it's an even league across the board, then yes, you go running back. But I'm fearful that you may lose out on a top quarterback.
If you're trying
Honestly.
to get a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen, for certain, you're not gonna get him. You're not gonna get either one of those guys waiting.
Yeah, on the come around, you're just not gonna do it. So me personally, I think you go quarterback and then tight end. I think they'll be there. Honestly, I mean, obviously Kelsey's in the Wallers and the Kittles. Those guys are probably gonna be gone. Andrews,
yeah.
But still, you still got some at least some quality ones, a few left to snatch up. But you'll still have the better quarterback than anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
So you can wait on that a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. But yeah.
No, I agree. But if we're asking for 1 quarterback, am I more likely to go early tight end or early quarterback? I say I'm more likely to go early tight end. But that's only if I'm having that chance to get my guy, Travis Kelsey, reliable 1,000-yard tight end. After that, it depends on who's there.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Okay.
By the way, Justin a while ago said he sees the Bengals having a slump. Definitely, hey, the Super Bowl loser typically does slump, and you know that from when the 49ers lost in the Super Bowl. It's hard to bounce back. I just really like the Bengals.
I don't think
they're
so.
really
I
set
think
up to be good.
I think they so young.
Yeah.
Honestly, that doesn't even bother them. I know it bothers them that they lost.
Yeah.
But I don't think they let it hang over their head like that, like an older team would.
I don't see either of those teams really slumping this year. I think they both make the playoffs. Maybe not the Super Bowl again, but I think they both make the playoffs.
What? All my hate aside against the Rams. The Rams spend money. But they did lose a lot of people this year on that team.
The casualty of winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, they lost a lot of people, so I can see them more in a slump than anything, but the nucleus is there. Their core players are there. Yeah. So they didn't lose that. So I think they still going to be in the mix regardless. So, but the NFC is going to be a little easier than the AFC this year because it's more talent.
The NFC West won't be easy, but I think overall making the playoffs because like the AFC, like we mentioned, the NFC East is just terrible.
Yeah.
So that's one division you don't really have to worry too much about. If we go to the NFC North, that's going to be interesting.
Can Detroit overtake? No. Can Chicago overtake?
No.
Green Bay?
I think Green Bay is the only team I have confidence in, and maybe the Vikings.
I think the Vikings
could be interesting.
I think the Vikings is probably the best team on paper.
On paper
in that division. Then it's Green Bay. Because I think they got the better receiving core. They got the better. Now, Green Bay's defense
receiving core. Yeah.
Defense is good. Green Bay got a good defense, but if we talking about, because we all know it's a passing league, and you don't have the weapons to pass with, you're not going to be successful. But they have Jefferson and Thielen, and Thielen's no slouch. He's just a little bit old, but he ain't no slouch either. So I think Minnesota definitely has a better team than Green Bay. I think they can overtake them this year, personally.
Here's where Green Bay has to get better. Special teams. Their special teams was atrocious last year.
Yes. So they was in last place. Yeah, special teams.
They were terrible. So if they can fix that, I'd still probably have them a notch above Minnesota, but I think it's going to be really close between those two. I agree with you.
So let me ask you this. Dalvin Cook, being that they're going to
they're going to be pass happy this year. That's what I hear.
Does that affect Dalvin Cook, or
I don't think so,
that help Dalvin Cook?
He can catch out the backfield, and it takes attention away from him Because Justin Jefferson's really good. And so I think it's going to be opened up, this offense. At least that's what I'm hearing. This offense
That's what they're saying.
Really opened up this year, and I think that helps Dalvin. The only thing that gets me about Dalvin Cook is he has this injury history where he's going to miss like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
and that can get annoying. But
at times,
at times. But I still like Dalvin Cook overall, just not as high as I did a year ago.
Well, that's all I got, man. You got something else?
I think we hit all the questions. I hope I didn't leave anything out. Doing a little scroll. I think we're good. So thanks everybody for your time. Hope we've now done it. We've gone through all the key positions. We don't talk kickers. We don't talk defensive players as far as rankings. We might throw in a comment here or there. But we've gone through all the positions, so you'll be able. If you go to our social media, go look on YouTube, you'll hear all of our rankings. You can see what we think of certain players. It's time to get started. Like I said, the next time we're back with a mock draft.
I think we're in rare form, man. I think this is as long as we've been in a while, so I think
this is going to be
trying to get back.
If you're interested in participating in the mock draft, we might have a slot or 2 open. Hit us up.
Yeah,
let us know what you think. And we're gonna rock that. So we'll put all our knowledge to work and see what we come up with.
So let us know. But we got to go back to it, man. We here. We can go anywhere. It's getting hot, man. Get with us, man. Definitely
hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't done so already. Follow us with all your questions and comments on our social media. You know where to find us.
Hey. We're here. We can go anywhere. We'll see you, in the next week?
In 2 weeks.
A couple of weeks? 2 weeks, yep. All right.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
All right.